that's called true, false, and not given. We will talk about these type of questions. There were true, false, and not given type of questions. You might be very familiar, clear with the word true, false, but something that's quite new to you, that's called not given type of questions. They are very, very important type of questions from your IELTS perspective. Because these type of question, it comes in your exam. Number one thing you should keep in your mind that these type of questions, they deal with factual information. Factual information. These type of questions, they deal with what type of information? Factual information. Like these type of questions, they do not deal with your opinion, that you have your own opinion about something. They deal with what? Factual information. The information that's present exactly in the passage. The information, what the statement says, and the information that is present over there in the passage. Clear? All of them information you are going to deal according to what? According to the passage. Opinion no. You will not give your own opinion in these type of questions. Clear? So now, what is more important for us? That first of all, we should be very clear about what is true, what is false, and what is not given. Clear? Before moving towards them, the main targeted thing, clear, what examiner they want to ask from you people to judge you all. Objectives of these questions are that examiner, he wants to know about, do you understand about the sentence controllers? What they will be using? They will be using sentence controllers. Sentence controllers. The main target over here, that would be the sentence controllers. Sentence controllers are those words that, in fact, like if you see, it will not have that big meaning there. Clear? Like it will not come on your eyes, but it entirely change the meaning of the sentence. Like sentence controllers, you should be very clear about, suppose all, A-double-L, all. You have to focus more on these type of words. All, few, little, always, mostly, sometimes, mainly, never. Clear? These type of words are called what? We call them sentence controllers. Because these words, they totally change the meaning for a sentence. For example, let me give you an example. Clear? Suppose, what else they want to give you an example like Coca-Cola mainly produce its product in Pakistan, or Coca-Cola always produce its products in Pakistan. So now look at these two examples. Suppose this is the question you've been asked for true, false, not given, and if you come down, you start reading the passage, and the passage they will give you another thing. Like this is what you find in the passage. So what do you think? Either this is true, false, or not given?
True, false.
It's true, false. Like for example, look what I say. This is the question, clear, given to me in my for me like in a question. This is my question. And this is what like you find this place clear in the passage. And they ask you, Coca-Cola mainly produce its product in Pakistan. This is the question, and they want to ask you that is this true, false, or not given? When you start reading the passage, you find this place. You find this place, clear? And they have written, Coca-Cola always produce its product in Pakistan. So now, either this statement on the basis of this passage, either this is true, false, or not given.
It's false.
It's false?
Yes, sir.
How many of you say it's false? And how many of you say it's true? How many of you say it's not given? Like for you it's nothing. Huh? Those they don't raise their hands, so it means it's nothing for them. As I told you earlier, they deal with what? With sentence controllers. This is mainly, this is always. Now, the word mainly, it means what? That they, clear, mainly produce. Mainly means what? That most of its products are being produced in Pakistan. But there is also a chance to that they produce their product in any other countries. But if I say Coca-Cola always produce its product, what does it mean now? That they only produce in Pakistan, they do not produce in any other countries. Did you get it now?
Yes, sir.
Look, it's a very simple word. It's a simple word like, always and mainly. But it makes a very big difference in a sentence. So the main targeted thing here in true, false, not given, clear, what examiner they want to target there, they are targeting about the sentence controllers. Do you understand? Now, for example, look, I'm just going to give you another example related to your sentence controllers. Clear? For example, Coca-Cola produce its products for the last 100 years. For the last 100 years. And if I say Coca-Cola produce its products for the last few years. This is my question. That Coca-Cola produce its products for the last 100 years. 100 years. And when you come to the passage and you start reading the passage, in the passage you find out Coca-Cola produced its products for the last few years. So now either this is true or false. Huh?
True.
It's not given? It's not given. It's false or true, not given. Huh? Look, use your brain. Come on. It's not given? It's false? It's false? Yeah, it's false.
Yes.
Why? Because they have used what? Coca-Cola produced its products for the last 100 years. 100 years. So I have used a sentence controller. In place of 100 years, I have used few years. So now look, 100 years is too much. How many could be few years? It could be 10 years, 15 years, at least 20 years. It cannot be like few, cannot be more than 20 years. Am I right? So it means that's the opposite of that meaning. Where do you see like 10 years or like 100 years? There's a big difference. So that's why we can say it's false. So your overall, true, false, not given type of questions, they deal with what? They deal with that of your factual information. They will deal first of all with factual information, and the second thing, they will be using what? They will be using sentence controllers. So be very careful with the sentence controllers over here. Clear? That one type of sentence controllers are being used. Is this clear? Huh? So now, what do? We will move on clear towards our lecture, and I'm gonna teach you what I mean by true, what I mean by false, and what do we mean about that of not given. Now understand the differences between them. you should know about the differences between all these three. I'm sure you understand what I mean by true. True means when the information provided to you in the passage exactly matches with what? With that of the question. It means that's true. There will be no doubt. Keep in your mind, what did I say? There will be no doubt. You cannot answer according to your own opinion. You will answer according to what? According to the passage, what the passage says. One thing. Second, if the information provided to you, that is the opposite of that. The information contradicts with the statement. Like information in my passage, it contradicts with what? With the passage. So it means that answer is false. Like the same way here. The information is look, they will not give you not. For example, if you say he is a boy, and in the passage you will start reading he is not a boy. It's not in that way. It's not that easy, clear? They will be using what? They will be using to deceive you with what? With these things. With sentence controllers. Right now, look here. Did I use any not? Do you have any not in these statements? But still they are false. Am I right? Still they are false because these words, some of the words, it gives what? Negative meaning to us. And when you come up towards that of not given, clear? So not given means either the information provided to you is totally missing. The information is not provided to you. They did not talk anything about that. Or the information provided to you, it could be incomplete. It will be what? It can be incomplete, or the information provided to you, it can be more than that. What did I say? There are three things. There is no only one thing, clear? That if you think that information is not present, no, it's not about that only. Information provided to you, it could be more. Clear? It could be what? It could be more. Or information that could be less. Or information, there would be no information. Now, for example, I want to give you an example. Look, if I say, Coca-Cola always produce its product in Pakistan. This is one question. Another question I want to ask, I want to write down. Pakistanis were the first people to drink Coca-Cola. Is this true or false now, according to this?
Not given.
It could be not given. Why? Because they say Coca-Cola always produce their products. Or for example, if I say Coca-Cola produced its first product in Pakistan. First product in Pakistan. And what the question has asked you, the question says that Pakistanis were the first people to drink Coca-Cola. So is it true or not? It's true. True or false? Or not given? It's not given. I told you earlier, what did I say? That they deal with factual information, not with your brain. They do not deal according to your own opinion. Look, it's something general. It's something general that absolutely, like, for example, somebody can say, कि पाकिस्तान के अवलने प्रोडक्ट मतलब जो शेयर दो कोला नुदा जाहिर खबर तो पाकिस्तानियों ने बाउल्स करी. Am I right? वो भाई तात तमासी वेला they deal with what? With factual information. तक चलता दे तो truly को that would be zero. You will write down not given. Why? Because they haven't clearly mentioned it. They did not say tata sapata जोड़ शेयर दे तो हो अवल अफ्रीकानियों ने उसका ले. Who knows that? Who knows that? We cannot say that. Am I right? So you will not give your answer with your own opinion. तब अख़बर मशरूतियाँ ने पकड़ने क्या? तब ऐसा करके तब अदर factual information तो टूल नावल दा खबर लिखल हुई these type of information they deal with what? With factual information. Clear? Everybody is now clear a bit?
Yes, sir.
Can you close it? Okay, if you want to give answer clear to these questions, so first of all, what we will do, we will read the question carefully to make sure you fully understand what it's saying. Number one thing, look, in reading, majority of the students I have observed, what do? They, without understanding the question, they rush, to find out the answer. When you don't understand the question, how can you find out the answer? Read to understand. تاسو ریډ کوئ چې جواب پیدا کړم زمونږ عادتونه هم دا دي چې زه اورم دې وجې نه چې زه جواب ورکړم اورېدل دې د وجې نه دي we listen to understand something that I should clearly understand something. So first of all we will read the question properly and understand the question what the question has been asked for me. सवाल के कम keywords दी समान वाड़ी one thing. Second, scan the text to find where the answer is using the keywords from the question. Like we will be using some of the signposting I had told you in the first lecture. They will guide us, to reach to the correct position in the passage. Then what we need to, when you find where the answer is, read the text carefully to identify whether it is true, false, or not given. The question you probably clear, they will be using what? They will be using synonyms. And you do understand, since for the last 1 week we talk about these things, that they only deal, your reading only deal with what? With synonyms. Vocabulary, paraphrasing, we have already talked about that. So the question will probably use synonyms rather than the words in the text. Like the words they have used in the question, you will not find exactly the same way, but they will be using synonyms in the passage. Next, look for controlling words. Controlling words, as I told you, sentence controllers. Controlling words such as, like for example, only, all, never, the way I have given you some of the examples. Am I right? Clear? For example, if the fact is in the question says some, and the fact and the text says all, it is what? It's false. Like they say all, but when you come to the passage, they say some. So there's a big difference between all and some. So these are sentence controlling words. Am I right? Is this clear to all of you now?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Make sure you use the correct code, clear? And the code is what? T for true, F for false, and NG is for not given. Okay, now we want to take one practical example here, okay? To understand better that of true, false, and not given, I just want to give you a practical example and you will understand from it. Now, these are my questions. For example, this is my question. Chilies come from South America. This is my question. Number one, people began eating chilies in the last few centuries. And South Americans were the first people to eat chilies. Now, look at the first statement, this one. This is my statement, clear? This is what I have given you just only for the sake of that you should properly understand true, false, or not given concept. Is this clear? Now look here. Chilies originate in South America and have been eaten for at least 9,500 years. Look at my question. Chilies come from South America. Is this true or false?
True.
It's true. Why? Because they have used what? Come means originate. Chilies originate. They will be using synonyms as I earlier said. Clear? They will not use, clear, that they will say originate. Clear? They will say introduce. They will say begin. Is this clear? So they have used come from. Chilies come from South America. So this is true. Why? Because clearly the statement says chilies originate in South America. It's very clear. The statement is very clear and I can write down this is true for this answer. Now look at the second one. People began eating chilies in the last few centuries. In the last few centuries. And what they have written here? For at least 9,500 years. So opposite meaning is there. So from here we can understand this is false. Why? Because they say few centuries. And they say for 9,500 years. So this is false. Next. South Americans were the first people to start eating chilies. Is this true or false? Or not given? It's not given. Why? Because we do not understand that either they were the first or not. Because the statement, the information in that statement is not clearly mentioned. So we cannot clearly say. Because even they have mentioned, chilies originate in South America. Originate. Some people will think like, as I told you earlier, it does not deal with your own opinion. According to your opinion or according to my opinion, it would be yes. Why? Because we understand if it is generated in South America, so absolutely people of South America would have to eat in it. But this is not the case because these questions deal with what? They deal with factual information. Is this clear? Okay. Now we want to talk about some of the questions here. Now look, I just want to give you explanations of these things. Then later on we will come towards the practice session. Right? Look, the question is, chilies became popular as soon as they were brought into Europe. This is my question, clear? They asked me, chilies became popular as soon as they were brought into Europe. And this is the statement, like from here, what I have taken it. After their introduction to Europe, introduction means what? Brought. Introduction means brought. Like when you something, you introduce something, you bring something. So that's not like, the synonym they have used for what? Brought. Brought means introduction. They say after their introduction, after they brought, after introduce, after they brought, clear? So Europe, and they have also used Europe, clear? This is my Europe. They have used their introduction. Their means what? There means chilies. The word there means chilies. They have used what? Their introduction, clear? They have used possessive adjective in this case for chilies. And they were an immediate. They have used immediate sensation. Immediate sensation and were quickly incorporated into the diet. And they have used what? Became popular means sensation. The meaning of sensation means become popular. Clear? When something become popular means that's sensation. As soon as means immediately. They have used word immediate. This is the word immediate, and they have used as soon as. Brought into means introduced. So now the answer is yes. Why? Because they say chilies became popular as soon as they were brought into Europe. So they say after their introduction to Europe, they were an immediate sensation and were quickly incorporated into their diet. Diet means what? Like khorak. उन लोगों ने is like they made it the part of their diet. अपने खुराक का हिस्सा बना दिया. अपने खुराक हिस्से जोड़ रखा. No, मतलब they're true there. Why? Because the information matches exactly the same. So that's why I can say this is the true answer. Okay, now we want to come up with the next part. Question is, this about like any of the word play capsaicin or what? Damages the mouth. They have used the word what? Damage. Damage the mouth. The key word we have, that is damage. Clear? Damage the mouth. They have used the word capsaicin. So capsaicin causes temporary irritation to the clear trigeminal cells. So what they have used? The word temporarily. Temporary irritation. Damage is big. Damage is what? Big. Temporary irritation means what? Small. It's not that much. That means that is the opposite of that. So that's why we can say that's false. Huh? Yes. That's false. Okay, next we have, they say chilies can be part of a bird's diet. Chilies can be part of a bird's diet. So is this true, false or not given? This is my passage I have taken, right? They say only mammals feel the burning effects. Mammals. They don't talk about reptiles. They don't talk about the birds. Birds feel nothing. Birds feel nothing. So this is true. Why? Like only mammals feel burning effect. Like if you are human and you eat chili, so you may feel burning effect. Yeah. But if birds eat it, they feel nothing. So it means it can be the part. Why? So they have clearly written here, birds feel nothing. Only mammal feels the burning effect. Clear? And this is what we have, and birds feel nothing. This is the negative of that. So we can say this is true. Okay, all chilies, clear, all large chilies grow high off the ground. This is my question. All large chilies grow high off the ground. And what they say, the smaller chilies tend to be the hottest. This may reflect the fact that they tend to grow closer to the ground and are therefore more vulnerable to the animals. So now, this is not given. Why? Because they did not talk about large chilies. They only talked about what? Smaller chilies. Now, there would be a student among you. He may say that, if small chilies tends to grow closer to the ground, closer to the ground, large question gatigi. That was suchi kana mata tasir to opinion barakinawe. Is that because they haven't written there? You will just only answer on the basis of what? What is written there? So that's why I can say what? It's not given. I cannot say it's true or false. That would be not